Joining me now, Paul Osadebe, a federal attorney who is a union steward at the American Federation of Government Employees, and Alisa Tafti, a federal worker who is also president of the American Federation of Government Employees Local 2211. We're not specifying the agencies where they work due to fear of reprisals. Alisa, Paul, thank you both very much, seriously, for being here this evening and putting a face to all those numbers I just read in that intro. I want to play, just to set the table here, play some sound from a man by the name of Russell Vought. He was and is again the director of the Office of Management and Budget. And this is from a private speech he gave in 2023. Just listen to him talk about the federal bureaucracy. We'll talk about it on the other side.
We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. We want, when they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all of the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma.
Mr. Osadebe, your reaction when you hear that?
I think it's disgusting and sad. As they attack federal employees, they're attacking the ability of the federal government to protect you out there when it comes to protecting you from companies dumping toxic chemicals in your water and your air, when it comes to veterans being able to get the health care that they need, when it comes to banks who take money out of people's bank accounts for not having enough money. It's the federal government that comes in and protects you. And that's exactly why they're tearing it down, because they want the ability to move freely, to have no one stopping them from making as much profit as they can. And we are here sticking it out to make sure that we continue to protect the American people.
Ms. Tafti, what is your reaction to hearing that?
I think it's pretty heartbreaking. Federal workers, we come into federal service because we have a commitment to doing good. We want to work for the American people. So the idea of demonizing the federal worker and really sort of putting them in this position where you want to terrify, you want to traumatize somebody who's committed their lives and their careers to doing good for the American people, and that's it's heartbreaking.
You know, we're talking about people who have been fired. You're both still working. How are you doing with news, seemingly, definitely on a daily basis, but sometimes on an hourly basis, that more colleagues in other agencies have been summarily let go?
Yeah, I've had that happen with my coworkers just yesterday, and it's awful. And as awful as that is, the thing that really, really hurts me is the fact that we're losing the ability to protect people in their day-to-day lives. We're losing the capacity to hold people accountable when they harm people. And when that happens, that's just a loss for the entire American public, no matter who you are or where you live. We're going to be seeing, unless people take action and respond, we're going to be seeing a lot of pain. It's starting with federal workers, but it's not going to stop there. It's going to trickle down to the private economy, and it's going to trickle down to everyday Americans everywhere. And the reason that I'm here and that Alisa here is to say something, to get people to know what's going on and to take action while you still can. Because once these things are broken, it's very hard to fix them, and now's the time to respond.
Now, I'm not going to ask you to reveal which agency you're in, but take us inside. What is it like going into work now?
It's really hard. Everybody is really scared. It's hard to know sort of when it's going to hit you. And it's hard to know when you're going to be put in a position where you lose your job, you lose your ability to pay your bills. But at the same time, we've been through a lot as federal workers, right? We've been through shutdowns. We've spent decades hearing sort of this rhetoric that is sort of this anti-federal worker rhetoric. So our resolve is pretty steely, and our commitment, again, like I said, to service, it's amazing what it sort of instills in you and the ability for you to sort of push on. So it's both a lot of fear, but it's a lot of sort of an absolute determination to stick it out and to continue to do for the American public what we committed to do when we took our oaths to protect the Constitution and to sort of work for it and protect the American people.
Mr. Osadebe, is this even legal? I've been asking this question since these firings and purges have started. So far, the answer has been a resounding, no, this is not legal. Is it legal? And if not, why are they still happening?
I can say as an attorney, none of this is legal. And that's part of the point. They want to destroy the idea that there's security or safety in federal employment. They want to move fast and break things as they come from the tech sector. And they're doing this so that people don't have a chance to respond. They're trying to clog up the courts to make sure that when they fire you, you don't have time to respond. And it's all part of a tactic to traumatize, as you already said. But there are responses, and we're here to talk about how people can take action and respond to these things.
So then how can people take action, Ms. Tafti?
Yep. So the public can, you can speak up for us. I think calling representatives, telling them that you think this is unacceptable, and urging them to speak up and to fight for us. I think that's really important. I think that for many of us, we like to sit back and we like to think, that sort of intellectual exercise of if I was at a turning point in history, what would I do and how would I react? And I think the trouble is sometimes we fail to recognize when we are at a turning point in history, and we are at that point right now. And so I really urge everybody to act. There's rallies and there's actions that are starting to happen all over the country. The sort of movement is beginning to be able to organize and speak out. I think anybody in any city, any town in the country can tap into that, because showing up and using your voice and speaking out for us is really important, because the goal here is for us to protect the services that the government provides for the American people. And every single person in this country is going to be impacted on this in so many ways throughout the course of each day that they don't even realize, because it has been an efficient system. It has worked so well that it's invisible to everybody, but it's going to start falling apart as they start saying, as Musk said, that they want to sort of take us out, take out entire agencies.
Well, one more question for both of you real quickly. As I mentioned in the intro, you're both members of your unions. How's the union helping workers in your union?
Sure. As a union steward, I'm the one who is communicating with both employees and management and telling people what's going on, just keeping people informed. And as members of DOJ and the administration are attacking federal employees, we're the ones saying that your work does matter, what you do matters, and you should stick it out. We're enforcing our collective bargaining agreements however we can, because as much as they try to bypass those and take away those rights, we still have them. And when we come together in unions and in solidarity, we can defend our rights. And that's what I want everyone to help us do. Over the next week, on the 19th, we're going to have a day of action. That's going to be nationwide rallies, actions that you can take in your local community to support federal workers and to protect your services.
Okay, and we're going to have to leave it there. Paul Osadebe, Alisa Tafti, thank you both very much for coming to the Saturday Show